We're shaking, folks. Back with another reaction, back with some more Human League. And we're back with their Dare album, 1981. And the next track is called Seconds. It's a measurement of time. It could also refer to a second helping of food or perhaps some other resource or commodity. It could also be the second in line, meaning someone has first priority and then whoever comes in next gets seconds. I feel like there's a few different ways it might be rendered. Perhaps it could play off multiple usages of the word, but it's terse, it's concise, it's a single word title. Those tend to be tough to get a read on, so let's listen. This is the Human League. The track is Seconds, and it's from their 1981 album, Dare.
Hiding from the sun, waiting for the golden one.
The golden one?
Waiting for your fame. After the parade has gone.
Snare. Oh. Yeah. The bass too.
Outside was a happy place.
Outside was.
Every face had a smile like a golden face. For a second,
Oh damn.
your knuckles white as your fingers curl. The sharp knock was heard around the world.
Are we talking the dropping of a nuclear bomb? Is this another like
Seconds of your time to take his life. It took seconds. It took seconds of your time to take his life. It took seconds. It took seconds of your time to take his life. Seconds of your time to take his life. Seconds. Seconds. It took seconds of your time.
that has a ballistic gravitational sound to
It
it.
took seconds of your time to take his life. It took seconds. For a second.
Oh, I love this part.
For a second.
Discordant and cacophonous at the end there. Yeah, that's crazy. Sonically, I love it. You know, not to plug myself, but I did a reaction to a Depeche Mode documentary on Speak and Spell on my Patreon. I'm still working on the volume issues, but the point is, I was listening to a lot of Depeche Mode music from 80, 81 last evening. And as I was hearing this, it's like, man, you know, they mentioned Human League in that documentary, and, you know, that they kind of wanted to be like them and like OMD, but they were also trying to be maybe a bit more accessible. So as I hear this, I'm thinking about, like, the comments that I heard from Vince and the others. But also, I'm thinking, like, that is crazy, because it feels like both. It's like the synths and the chords, it feels accessible. It's like, it has that early 80s, like, exciting, you know, something new sort of feel. But he's also talking about, as far as I can tell, bombing, and, you know, whether or not we're talking about, you know, this is another Enola Gay, which, as I mentioned in that reaction, when I was in high school, one of the pilots of the Enola Gay came to speak at my school, and, like, I just remember thinking, like, this is so insane, I don't even know, like, what to think. But ultimately, I thought maybe it was referring specifically to, you know, a particular dropping of a bomb, maybe a nuclear bomb, and the idea that, you know, people were all smiling, people were doing their thing, and then boom, it's all gone. Now that could apply to any bombing, even, you know, more traditional, let's say, like what's the, like, normal munitions, I guess. But ultimately, it felt dark, and it felt like we were using seconds, maybe primarily in terms of time, but, like, it was also for a second, so I didn't know if that was, like, another, you know, usage of the word in relation to time, or whether that was somehow sequential. But the idea that it just takes a few seconds, right? It's getting at the idea of the fragility, and, at least in the context of war and a lot, unfortunately, of human history, human lives are cheap, at least as they're treated by others and those, you know, in a position to do harm. So the idea, it literally takes him 1 second to, like, pull the lever that opens the hatch, and, you know, then click the button that drops the munition. And then people down there who may be smiling, who may be, you know, busy, you know, raising children, living their lives, boom, it's all gone. And for the person who caused it to happen, it was nothing but, like, a trifling physical gesture and 2 to 3 seconds of time. So I feel like it's getting at this profound and intense point that you wouldn't normally think of in, like, a groovy pop song. But there's a lot going on sonically that it's like, oh man, I could see how, like, you know, this could be played in a set, you know, right after an early Depeche tune and right after an early OMD tune or something. So, yeah, it's just interesting to me to catch up on a larger understanding of music that was becoming prominent in the very earliest phase of my life. Admittedly, the first couple years while it was happening, I was too young to know what was going on. But again, by the time you get to, like, 83, certainly 84, I have multiple Depeche Mode tapes, and I'm beginning to, like, man, like, this is really cool. And, you know, I would hear other music, rock music, and, like, not as synth-heavy pop music and pop rock and so on. And I liked a lot of what I was hearing, but it was that synth, it was that electronic sound that drew me to Depeche. So had I heard a track like this, I think I would have been like, oh man, who are these guys? I need to know more about these. Now, eventually, at some point, I heard Don't You Want Me, though fair to say, like, and even though it has electronic sounds, that track, you know, it feels very different even here, where, you know, knowing that eventually this new version of Human League will come to sound, at least, you know, at times, like the hit that I knew going into this deep dive, this still feels, you know, again, like a blend between the catchy and poppy, but also the heavy and, you know, dark thematically. So, yeah, a really cool tune, and one that, as I said, had I known what the Human League was doing, if someone had given me a Human League tape at the same time I got a Depeche Mode tape back in the day, I probably would, you know, be a lot more knowledgeable about them. But cool to catch up on it now. Curious to hear what people have to say about this one, because again, it felt maybe specific, but I didn't hear enough to maybe pin down, like, whether it is specific or if it's just a more general, you know, this is what happens with human life in the matter of seconds. So Anyway, let me know what you think. I will see you next time. Peace.